Welcome this morning to Frostland Survivor Man. Frostman, no Joey. Unfortunately, Joey could not be with us. He hurt his back and he hurt it pretty bad. So I feel really bad. Joey couldn't even move yesterday. He didn't even get his feet on the ground yesterday. So I feel really bad for Joey. He couldn't be here today. So I decided that what I would do is something simple. You see me in the logo all the time. And speaking of the logo, a special shout out to Bart. You saw the new intro. My friend Bart does these reliefs and they are just beautiful. He's done a couple for me and they're just absolutely wonderful. And I thought Joey and I should probably roll out there to Nebraska and do an episode of the show where we show and showcase Bart and Bart's work. It would be really enjoyable to do that. So thank you, Bart. There I am, and in this logo you can see that I'm carrying an axe. And an axe is one of those things that when you're a survivor man, you absolutely cannot live without. You've got to have an axe. You've got to have a good axe. Actually, with 3 separate hand tools, I can build a pretty significant shelter. And they are a bow saw or a buck saw where I come from. We discussed that in a previous video. A brace and bit, and that's your drill that goes this way. Your hand drill, so you can put your post and beam together, and an axe. And an axe does all the pounding as well as chopping, as well as I have an Ojibwe friend. His name is Darren, and Darren showed me how the Ojibwe take black ash logs and beat them with the axe and peel them apart. And these soft sapwood peels that they take off, they use those to weave into baskets. Now, I've never seen them weave them into baskets, but I have seen them come off the log, and it's pretty impressive. So today, I'm going to show you how to put a handle on an axe head. Everybody breaks wooden handles. It's the nature of the beast. I put handles on many a persuader device. When I worked on the railroad, that was a great rainy day job fixing handles. So we're going to show you what you need, how to do it, and a couple of little tricks that I've learned along the way. Here we go. Wherever you go to purchase your axe handle, it's going to come with 2 things. It's going to come with a wooden wedge, which you can see in here, and it's going to come with 2 steel wedges. Okay. You're not going to need all of these, but they're a good thing to hang on to for later on. On the railroad, we would put them together and we would save a lot of these wedges. We had more wedges than we had hammers, but later on in the year when things dry out, those things become very important. You also need a new axe head. There's your axe head. And both of these were splitting axes. And the way to tell the difference twixt a splitting axe and a felling axe is, you can see the angle here. This is not very sharp. I couldn't be skinning anything with that. So this is a splitting axe. This is also a splitting axe. And I'm going to put the handle in there and on there. The other thing you're going to need is a persuader. And I love this one. I put an extra long handle on it because this ball peen hammer, this is my friend. This is also my felling hammer when I fell trees and use my plastic wedges. So I use this hammer a lot. So we'll split this open and take these wedges out and make sure we don't lose them. Keep the tape on there, keep them all together. The next thing, we're going to do this bigger axe head first. And if you look at the axe head, you can see how the flanges, one is bigger than the other. This one flares quite a bit more than this one. This is the bottom of the axe. This is the one that should be closest to the bottom of the handle. So the handle goes on like this, right? And for the most part, they generally fit in there pretty good. This one's a little sticky, but not too bad. I'm going to shave this down a bit and to make it go in there a little better, and then we'll take it from there. The way I shave this is I want to only have about 1.5 inches where I've shaved it at the top. I want this bottom part to be good and tight. The wedge is going to push this part over when I drive it in there. So I don't want to shave too much off. So there it is, nice and shaved. And yes, behind the camera, safety department, Dad, Joe's mom, my mom, I am wearing my safety glasses. So now I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to show you how I do that with a bigger scope here. Okay, I've got the head started on the handle, but I've got to get it all the way on. So I start by just tapping it down like this. Then we flip it over and hit the bottom of the handle. And you can see that that head is definitely going on there. And does it take a while? Yes, it does. But the point of it is having it be tight. So we're getting there. Want to straighten this a little bit, hit it on the back. I'll move it back here so you can see how I hit that. Straighten it out a bit and keep persuading. And I've many times had people ask me, does that really work? Hitting the handle and the head goes on with it just floating in the air like that? Absolutely, yes it does. I wouldn't do it otherwise, but yes it does work. And it keeps going. We don't want to tear up the handle. We just want to make sure we get it on. We got about an inch to go. Still going. Still going on. We're getting there. And then I'm going to go even it out again. Got to remember to move back here. And this portion here, you can see how that's kind of peeling around there. That's because it's too thick. We're just going to buzz that off quick with the angle grinder. We don't really have to, but it will make it work fairly quickly. So, and that happens simply because we're getting to this thicker part of the handle. So it's going to peel back some of the wood because the wood gives, the steel doesn't. We'll keep pounding her on here. I generally count to 8. I do 8 strokes and check. 8 strokes and check. And you can see we're almost there. Just a little further. I want that to make it all the way up, and it's just about 1/16 of an inch. There we go. Put it right up to the camera so you can see that it's right at the top. That's where we want it. Okay, next item up for bid is our wedges. Here's our wedges. We kept these in the tape so they don't go flying anywhere. And I have found a lot of times that the best thing to use for a lot of this stuff is a little magnet. Back up. I'm going to put the wedge in, and you can see that the handle has a pre-cut inside it. That's where the wedge goes. That's pretty obvious. And then the other thing that I really like to use is a little bit of this wonder product called Gorilla Glue. Anybody that glues wood at all in any way, shape, or form loves this stuff. This is the best glue I think ever invented. So we'll get the wedge ready. And it's a little too long, so I'm going to split a bit of it off. Look at that. It split its own wedge. All right. And then what I want to do is put a bead of Gorilla Glue right along that seam that's cut out where this wedge goes. Not between the steel, not in here, not between the steel and the handle, but in this wedge, so it's just wood on wood. And the reason for that is that handle cannot pop out then. the wedge will not let it, the glue will not let the wedge leave the handle. The two of them will be bonded together for life. So close that up quick. Gorilla Glue. And you can see my little bead of glue in there. Doesn't take much. Then we take our wedge, mount our safety glasses. And pound it down as far as it will go. Yes, it's going to fray. It's going to come apart. That's okay. And that's partly why I put the Gorilla Glue on there, because even if it's frayed, the Gorilla Glue is still going to hold it together. It's going to bond when the Gorilla Glue is dry. So now we leave it dry, and then we'll pick this up again. Here we are, already ready already. Time has lapsed. Let me bring this up to the camera so you can see how right in here where the Gorilla Glue has foamed up, the Gorilla Glue is dry. So now it's time to take this top piece off and even it out with the axe. And for that, I'm going to A, put on my safety glasses, and B, use my angle grinder. And my dad can't complain about my grungy shorts in this video because I'm doing work in the shop. And we're just going to take this excess wood off of here. And I was going to say, you know, when you arrived, because you can see the sparks coming off, but you could see the sparks coming off, so it didn't matter. Now our final touch, and that is these little wedges that we left on the tape here, these little steel ones, we're going to put one, just one, of those in here. Just one, and it goes right in the middle. So it's going to go right here. Hold it twixt your feet, lean it away from you until you get that wedge started. And that inevitably happens, I think, every single time. I can't think of any time that I haven't dropped that little wedge. There's the little steel wedge. That's the top of it. Our wooden wedge is ground off, and our Gorilla Glue is holding that off. And this axe is ready to go. And let's move this back. We'll get the logo in the background there. Oh, wait, wrong glasses. Can't wear those. Gotta wear these. There it is. A beautiful long handle splitting axe. Really an excellent tool, and I would not want to be in the timber without an axe. Not ever. It's the most important tool you will ever have in survival activity. Finished product one. This one I did a little bit later, so I gotta let that glue dry a little longer, and then I'll finish that one up. But then we will have two good axes. We're going to show you some uses for them outside of splitting firewood. There's lots of things that you can do with them, and they work as a hammer. You can cut down trees, you can cut up trees. There's a lot of things that you can do with an axe, and I think I've done almost all of them. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully the next video is going to have my good cohort Joey standing beside me instead of my own face. Take care.